pledge allegiance to my thing. Man, look at your thing. Let it know you care. To my thing. I will rise above. Doing what I love. I will make that dough. I like that, Paul. Let's do it again. I will make that dough. Doing what I know. And those who laugh. And those who laugh. To kiss my assets. Okay? You guys have been great. Thank you very much. God bless you. Take it out. You guys are great. Thank you very much.
I first met Victor at a conference he was giving here in South Florida, where I live. After the conference, we learned we had several things in common. For one, we were both from large Puerto Rican families, and secondly, neither of our families had very much money when we were growing up. We spoke about the possibility of one day working together and kept in touch thereafter. A couple of months ago, I got a call from Victor. He told me that he was going to be the keynote speaker at the National Conference for the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. He asked if I would take my camera and accompany him from his home in Georgia up to Philadelphia, where the conference was to take place, and document his experience, sort of like a weekend in the life of a motivational speaker. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, the self-improvement market is a $1 billion industry. That's billion with a B. And I was always curious about the motivation of a motivational speaker. Did they really care whether you succeeded or failed, or were they in it just for the money? So the Friday before he was to speak at the conference, I flew up to Georgia and met Victor at Atlanta's International Airport, where he was also flying in from a speaking engagement in another city. From there, we drove to his home in ALPHARETTA, and that's where our story begins.
When he comes home, he likes to spend time alone and work in his office, but he does have a lot of energy, and after a week home with him, I'm ready to send him off again. He's a little Victor goes a long way, because he's got so much energy.
Anyway, when I come home, this is what I like to come home to. It's a real quiet neighborhood, a far cry from what I'm used to, so if you'd asked me many years ago would I ever had something like that, I wouldn't have believed it.
I guess it's good when he's home for a lot of time, but then he gets kind of annoying, and then he goes away and comes back.
I would say since the kids were born, he's been traveling more than 50% of the time ever since then, so I'm used to that.
There's not noise. It feels like there's a huge part missing, because my mom's really low-key, my sister's really low-key, and I'm pretty low-key, but my dad's just sets off the balance from everyone else in the house. So it's a lot different having him in the house than when he's not here.
When I'm done and I'm on the road, one of the things I don't want to do is really see anybody. That may sound surprising, but I don't really want to see anybody. I don't know, I think because you're plugged in so much, you're always talking to people, you're always hanging out with people, that when you get home, it's just you're done.
He does like to be home, that's true. But he still is talking a lot. He's on the phone, or he's, like I said, bothering us.
When we first moved to Georgia, I'm one of these guys that actually like to cut my own lawn. I like to trim my own hedges. That's kind of one of those mental things you do. It's kind of relaxing. So one day, car pulls up, beautiful BMW, and the man rolls down his window. Now, keep in mind that I have my baseball cap on, a t-shirt, some shorts, and some sandals. And the guy rolls up right there as I'm trimming the hedges, and he pulls down his window and says, "Hi." So what do I say? "Hi." Anyway, He says, "Do you know who lives here?" Now, you know who he thought I was, right? He thought I was the gardener. So anyway, I remember reaching him inside, going, "Hi, my name is Victor Gonzalez. I'm one of your new neighbors." And I could see his face go, "Wow, there goes the neighborhood."
I've never seen him live speaking, no. Because public speaking to me would be terrifying. So I think that if I'm in the audience, I'd be nervous for him, So I don't even want to, do that. You know what I mean?
I would think you hear him talk so much at home that
yeah, really, I want to pay him to be quiet.
My family's from Puerto Rico. I was born and raised in Chicago, as you know. And I always get the question, "Victor, do you have a green card? Do you need one to be here?"
What you see out there is how he is at home, basically.
What do you think I say to that? No. But I do tell him I have one. It's called American Express.
He acts a lot more different around the house. He's not as calm as a regular dad. Most dads will be, just mellowed out more. He goes around the house singing, dancing. You could see the motivational speaker in him, because a motivational speaker would not act as calm as most dads. When I go to my friend's house, it's just not the same. He's not a normal dad, that's for sure.
There's a reason I'm going through all these cards, because I want you to understand something. These are all the ideas that I think are good. My horse's voice, because again, I've been speaking for 2 weeks on the road. What do you expect? Anyway, so these are all the different things I write down. And so as I go through all this, you're probably saying, "Man, that's a lot of stuff. Are you going to speak about all this?" No. The sad thing is that all this is now, I take the best stuff of here, put this to the side, and then I whittle it down to 5 cards. Well, now in this case, I'm down to 6 cards, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, knowing how I speak, because I talk a lot, now that I got 6 cards, I take the best from there. Phase 2 of the process, I now whittle it down to 1 card. This is a 45-minute keynote. Part of my success when it comes to speaking, as far as memorizing speeches so it comes across naturally. You often see a lot of speakers use notes. If you use notes, you suck. As a speaker, you can't control how the crowd's going to react, but you can control how you perform. And a speaker is a solo job. It's one of those things where it's you. And there was a guy, his name is Larry Wingate. He said something important. He said, if you're nervous about speaking, you don't know your content. Because if you have to think about it, you don't know it. In my mind, during the night, I'll just think about the speech over and over again. And I'll be able to run on pure adrenaline from here to tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. After I finish the speech tomorrow, you will see me unplug the battery so hard that I will crash right after that. That's how I usually work, but that's how I do it, folks. I try to shoot for the 80-20 rule. 80% of my content has to be fresh. Something new, something exciting. And just go from there. But 20% I always keep in because you need it. It's related material. Like if it's a college market, they always want to hear about my college experience. You got to throw that in there because, like any good speaker, what do you want to do? Relate to your audience. And when you're speaking to a bunch of college students, if they see you come across as a corporate guy or a business guy, they're not going to listen to you. They're just going to shut down on you, and that's it. No more conversation. So what I try to do within the first couple of minutes is just kind of, relate to them.
So I pulled down the bingo card and I'm looking through this, looking at the different majors. And the first major I look at, it said civil engineering. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't want to be nice to people, so I said no. So second, it said, the second one was mechanical engineer. And I said, man, I don't want to fix cars either, right? And then the third one I saw was aerospace engineers. And I said, who wants to go to outer space? Not me. Then I saw electrical engineering, and and the light bulb went off, right?
When I first started doing the high school and the college market, what I started doing was a standard speech, start. Tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you just told them, your basic construction of a speech. And I wasn't having any fun, and I guess my audience wasn't having any fun because nobody was booking me again. And that's usually an indication. If you're not getting rebooked, at least one time again, that's a problem. So if I'm not going to make any money, I might as well just have some fun doing this. And I started messing around and having fun with my audience, but still delivering some content. and it was a hit. And at that point, I got the first inkling that maybe I'd finally found my style. Now I need a volunteer. You right there. Bow tie man. Now, Manny, I'm gonna tell him a story. And the only way this story is gonna work is that if you help me.
Okay.
Are you willing to help me, Manny? Sure. All right, good role model, good example. Now, before I tell him the story, I need you to do me a favor. You ever see the Beverly Hillbillies?
Yes.
You did see the Beverly Hillbillies. Yes. How many folks by a show, clap of hands, saw the Beverly Hillbillies? Excellent. Manny, do you remember that big old nasty hound dog they had? You do? Yeah. Zig Ziglar will tell the hound dog story, and that's about, you know, man's walking down a lonely road. In the distance, he sees this farmhouse, and he decides to go in the farmhouse and ask for a drink of water. As the stranger approaches the porch, he notices that right next to that old man rocking back and forth is a big old nasty hound dog laying right next to him, making this sound. Stranger asks the old man for a drink of water. Old man goes inside, gets a drink of water, comes back outside. Now, he's drinking water and they're having polite conversation, but in the background, all you hear is what? Finally, the stranger asked the old man, says, "Excuse me, sir, what's wrong with your dog?" The old man looks at the dog, looks back at the stranger, and with a straight face, he says, "Son, my dog is laying on a tack." He doesn't know what to say. So they continue on with the polite conversation. But the pain is getting more excruciating, apparently. It's getting more excruciating, apparently. So finally he says, "Excuse me, sir, but if your dog is laying on a tag and it hurts him that much, why doesn't he what? Get up." Old man responds, he says, "Son, you just don't understand. The tack hurts the dog, but not enough to make him want to get up and do something about it, right?" You ever talk to people who all they do is what? Whine. Instead of doing something, what do? Whine. Instead of getting up and doing something, they what? The next time somebody whines, this is what I want you to hear. Because everybody got that. Give Manny a hand. You'll be great, Manny.